They've all enjoyed success separately, but have come together to create one of the very best TV shows around at the moment, Severance. It's Ben Stiller, Britt Lower, and Adam Scott. Great to have you back. Thank you so much. Britt, I am so excited to meet you. I'm a massive fan. Adam, at last.
Yes.
Thank you for coming. If you come over to the end here, get along up here.
Hello, you.
Wow.
Nice to see you. Really. Yes, sir. Good to see you.
You know Piers a bit socially, I believe, don't you, Adam?
Well,
Ben?
Pierce and I both have places in Hawaii that we've been going for years and years.
Yes.
On
Wow.
Kauai. And so Pierce, Pierce, you're like the mayor of Kauai.
I don't know. That's a very
He
kind
is,
thing to
kind
say,
of.
Ben, but I think you've taken over now, really.
No.
Really.
But
we
neither of us are the mayor of Kauai. There's an actual mayor.
Only one way to settle that. Who has the biggest yurt? Britt, I believe you have a link indirectly. You were named after someone from a Bond film, is that right?
I was named after Britt Eklund.
Oh,
And you must be a fan as well, I'm sure.
Well, I may have wanted to be you when I was a teenager as well.
really?
Yes.
Okay.
And you were also maybe my first crush.
From what, Remington Steele or something like this?
All of them.
Oh, really? Okay, thank you, Britt.
I fell in love with him in The Long Good Friday.
Yeah.
And Adam, you've worked together as well, haven't you, I believe?
Yeah, well, I had a tiny part in The Matador, and I don't know if everybody's seen The Matador, but this is an incredible Pierce Brosnan performance.
Great role, yeah.
Thank you very
And
much.
Adam, I can't believe you're in that movie.
I am in that
He's
movie.
in
yeah.
so many things.
I'm in it
Have
for
you seen
like
The
5
Matador
seconds.
and you just didn't know he was in it?
Totally forgot he was in
Wow.
it. Yeah.
It was a memorable performance.
Yeah. Let's talk about Severance, though.
Yes.
What a hit it's been, what an amazing show. And fans like myself, we are very devoted to it. But for those who might not have seen it, of course, there's so much TV these days, how would you explain the premise? And I'll go to you, Ben, because you directed many episodes.
Yes.
Amazingly.
Thank you.
And, I mean, you did them amazingly, not amazing that you were allowed to direct them.
It was amazing that I was allowed to direct it.
And
right.
you co-produced the show as well, I believe.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
so how would you describe a show as difficult to describe as this?
I mean, the concept of the show is that Adam plays a guy who gets a job at a company where they put a chip in your head, and when you go to work, you go down an elevator, and the chip activates, and you forget everything about your life on the outside, and then you work all day, and then when you leave, you forget everything that happened on the inside. So you have your outie and your innie. And he's decided to do this because he's going through a loss in his life. He's lost his wife, and he wants to forget. And so I think the show is a lot about that, you know, about sort of grief and also the weirdness of what's going on at this big corporation, Lumen, that sort of is doing something we don't quite know what they're up to, and also the weirdness of this world where these people don't know who they are, what they're doing, or why they're there, but they're just having this sort of like office life that, you know, might resemble something like The Office or Parks and Rec or something like
It's
that.
amazing because, of course, you've got this kind of very high premise, and it's filled, as Ben just said, with kind of like puzzles, mysteries. You're trying to solve it, but at the same time, at the heart of it, there are these very, very human, very compelling characters making sense of it. And you play essentially two characters, I guess, Britt, as you had them. They're like two versions of the same person, but very, very different. That must be quite a challenge.
Yeah, it's great fun. We're essentially the same person, but two parts of that same person. I kind of like to think about it as the inner child who's woken up on the severed floor. You meet my character in the first episode. She's laying on an office table and wakes up with no recollection of who she is, and soon comes to find out that her outie has opted for this surgery as well.
It's sort of like you at the office party, after the office party.
You've seen me, well, always with my bum out on the photocopying machine.
If I'm honest with
Guaranteed
you,
laugh.
Britt, that whole losing, not knowing your memory, waking up, not showing where you are, that two kind of person, you're just getting a little bit of practice for perimenopause. That's really what it's
Because season 1 came out about, I think, 17 years ago.
Yes.
So we were waiting to
exactly.
see. That was quite a long wait.
We had a long wait, yeah. I mean, I'm so happy that the audience from season 1 stayed with us, and then we got a bigger audience for season 2 because we had a 3-year break, which was not intentional. We had a writers and actors strike that kind of hit us in the middle, and it just was much longer than we thought.
And so presumably then we can expect season 3 any day now?
Next week.
You are working on it, though, are you?
We're definitely working on it, and hopefully it'll be, it's not going to be 3 years.
Yeah. Here's the thing I want to pass you is so many, because it's a much loved show and it's a kind of like rich and layered show, there are so many theories, fan theories online about what's going on. What are the strangest theories you've heard about it, you've encountered?
There's theories that one of the characters on the show is actually a goat.
Oh, yeah. Well, goats figure heavily in the show.
Yes, there are a lot of goats in the show.
You must have spent quite a lot of time working with goats on the show. Then how was that as an actor's experience?
Terrific.
Way easier than acting with Adam.
That's right. That's right.
Was it always your goal to direct, though? Because I know, obviously, I knew you first as an actor, a great comic actor and actor as well. First time I saw you on screen, though, you were being directed by the great Steven Spielberg. I saw you in Empire of the Sun.
I had a little part in Empire of the Sun. He came to a play that I was in, first job I ever had. He saw the play, and then he called me in for a meeting. And, yeah, there I am in the window with my hand up. Yeah. I'm so, like 20.
A baby.
Old. Yeah. And I had a meeting with him, and he said, "You're going to play these prisoners of war in this story by J.G. Ballard, Empire of the Sun, this great novel." And it was really, though, like an amazing experience to be working, with your idol.
I mean, presumably you were because you had in mind that one day you'd like to direct, you were watching what he did. You were studying his technique.
Oh, totally, yeah. And I'd made a short film that I showed to him. I had a video cassette of it, and he watched it, and he, gave me some feedback on it. And there was one scene where there was like a really long steady cam shot where I had like one line, and I think my line was like, "Hey kid, have you got a Hershey bar?" And then I realized I screwed it up, and I said, "Oh, cut."
Oh.
And then there's silence, and then after like a couple of seconds, I hear Steven Spielberg go, "What?" And I'm saying, "I'm sorry. I said, I just screwed it up." He goes, "You never yell cut if you're the actor." And I just turned white because I knew, it was really.
That's amazing.
And but
did you ever work in a Spielberg film again?
No.
Britt, I want to talk a little bit about. It seems to me, I've been reading up on it. It seems like you had the most, from the outside looking in, an idyllic childhood, and you spend time performing with circuses at the moment, don't you? Occasionally.
Yeah, after season 1 and after season 2, I ran away and performed in 2 different small tent circuses, one in St. Louis and one in Washington State. And that's me on top of the tent in the shoestring circus. And I'm playing the ukulele, and I was a sort of a ringmaster of sorts.
It's kind of amazing because for an adult to run away and join the circus is unusual, of course. It's a dream of many children.
Yes.
And, am I right in thinking that you sold many of your possessions and sort of like homed right down and lived in a kind of a pod on wheels for a while?
Yeah, I guess you'd call it a caravan here, a fiberglass trailer. After season 1, I lived in that.
How long did you live
Is
in
that
that for?
actually yours?
Yeah, that one's mine.
But your parents, I wouldn't imagine they were the caravanning type. Would that be right?
No. My parents were actors,
They were
comedians.
showbiz.
Yeah, so we were always kind of going on the road with them whenever they'd go perform in Las Vegas. They had a comedy team. They were called Stiller and Mira, and then my dad went on to do, Seinfeld and other shows.
Yeah,
and
amazing comic performer.
Yeah, they both were great. And our life was sort of revolved around showbiz and just being around them. And I loved it. We loved it as kids to go. They go out to, we lived in New York and we go out to LA, and they would do game shows in the 70s or sitcoms, and it was so much fun for
Well, they
us.
started doing a show as late as like 2010, I think. I mean, they were doing it for almost all their life. They must have been pretty old by then, I would say.
Yeah. No, they were married for 60+ years, and they just worked together for that long and worked together separately. And I've been working on a documentary about them, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's going to be coming out later this year, and it's been a really interesting process of kind of going through home movies and footage of them on talk shows back in the 70s.
That must have been quite emotional for you as well, I would have thought, to look back
Yeah,
on it.
it's been a 5-year process since my dad passed away, and I've gone through sort of times when I've embraced it and other times when I sort of pushed it away. And then we finally got to a point where this is actually a movie, where it felt like, this could be a movie for people to see who didn't know my parents. And then I started to feel better about what we were making. But I think, and then it started to get more emotional at the very end. And I think now I'm kind of going to that part of it where it's now I'm going to let it go. And so I'm glad I had something to kind of, help, I guess, process the, you know?
I can't wait to see it. I hadn't seen so much of your mum's work, but your dad's work I just adored. You work, speaking of working with family, you work with your wife occasionally, and she's a producer, I believe? Is that right, Adam?
Yeah.
I don't know where this story might lead, but I've been told there was some incident involving prosthetics when working together?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. That was on a movie we made called The Overnight that I was acting in, and we were both producing together. And I had to wear a prosthetic penis in the movie. In the movie, Jason Schwartzman and I both wore prosthetic penises. His was enormous, and mine was like teensy weensy. And so
hold it, your wife is producing this.
My wife is producing it.
Is this her getting revenge
Right.
for something at home? Or?
That's right. Funny how she cast me in this film. But so when we were shooting these scenes, it had to be applied, it had to be put on, and we weren't gonna ask the makeup department to help me out with this. So naturally, my wife, the producer, would come in and help me get the prosthetic penis on. But it was so small.
How does that work? Then? Because presumably it can't. If it's smaller than the actual item, then it can't go over the top.
Yes.
So presumably the original is.
It has to go
held,
somewhere.
and then it's just planted on top, like a pimple.
That's right. That's right. It's sort of a situation where you're like just pressing down and
Was it
then
an
playing.
innie or an outie?
That's
Yeah. Very good.